He was a billionaire who could buy anything except his son's smile. But one night, a simple waitress did something no amount of money ever could, and it changed his life forever. David had everything money could buy. To the outside world, he was a symbol of success. A billionaire with luxury cars, private jets, and a mansion that looked like a palace. People admired him, envied him, even feared him. But when the parties were over and the lights went out, he carried a pain that no amount of wealth could erase. That pain had a name: his son. His boy was born with a disability that made walking impossible. While other children played soccer and ran through fields, David's son sat in silence, often in his wheelchair, watching the world move without him. Doctors said his life would always be limited, and in a way, David believed them. He loved his child deeply, but love was tangled with frustration and shame. In boardrooms and interviews, he was the strong billionaire. At home, he was a father who didn't know how to face his own son. The boy rarely smiled, and when he did, it was fleeting. Every time David looked at him, he wondered if his son felt his disappointment, if he knew his father thought of him as less than whole. And the guilt gnawed at him. But rather than deal with it, David drowned it in work, in wealth, in building an empire so big it could hide the cracks in his heart. Then came the night of the charity gala. It was one of those extravagant events filled with crystal chandeliers, golden tables, and a room buzzing with powerful people. David brought his son along, not because he wanted to, but because appearances demanded it. The boy sat quietly at the corner of the hall, invisible to the crowd, just as he always felt invisible to his father's world. And then came Maya. She wasn't rich, she wasn't powerful. Just a young black waitress working long hours to pay her way through school. But unlike everyone else in that room, she noticed the boy. Not as the billionaire's son, not as the disabled child, but simply as a person. She knelt beside him, spoke gently, and when the music began, she did something no one else ever had. She leaned closer, smiled, and whispered, "Would you lead me in this dance?" The boy froze. His small hand trembled. For a moment, it seemed he would retreat into silence, just as he always did. But then something inside him shifted. Slowly, he raised his arm. Maya followed. His wheelchair moved forward, clumsy at first, but she moved with him as though every motion was deliberate, powerful. The crowd turned. The music softened. A silence swept across the hall as a young boy, who had never led anything in his life, led a woman across the floor. David's heart stopped. He had never seen his son like this, not weak, not broken, but alive. The boy's face glowed, his eyes lit with joy, and every movement was a statement. I am not invisible. I am not less. I am enough. The dance lasted only minutes, but to David, it felt eternal. Tears welled in his eyes. For years, he had looked at his son and seen only limitations. But tonight, through the courage of a waitress and the heart of his child, he saw strength. He saw beauty. He saw victory. The applause that followed shook the hall. Guests who once whispered about the poor boy in the wheelchair now rose to their feet, clapping, cheering, some even crying. But the loudest sound came from David's own heart breaking and healing, all at once. That night, David approached Maya, voice trembling, and simply said, "Thank you for showing me my son." From that moment, everything changed. The billionaire who thought money defined worth began to see life through new eyes. He spent more time with his boy, not hiding him but celebrating him. And Maya's courage reminded him of a truth he had long forgotten. Dignity cannot be bought, humanity cannot be sold, and love is the only true wealth.